everybody, it's Karen from Liongate Farm, and today I'm going to teach you how to make this fun little Santa bee ornament. I know we've done bees before, but this is a big fat bee. So today we're going to make this cute little Santa bee. You can tell people, be merry. I know we've done bees before, but this is kind of a big guy because he goes on a Christmas tree and you don't want him to get lost. And I'm going to teach you some special stuff with these sparkly wings. I'm going to teach you how to use fusible Angelina. I'll take you into the ironing board and show you how to use it. So let me go through what you need. Obviously, you need your pen tool, my trusty 38 star spiral. I have a piece of fishing line threaded on this doll needle for his hanger. Core wool. You don't need a ton. And then a little bit of red for his hat. I use purchased hats, but we're going to make a hat. Black stripes in his face and his eyeballs. This is catkin yellow I use. And then I have a little bit of white, for his eyeballs and his hat brim and the ball. So other things you might need are a ruler. Oh, you do need a little teeny piece. When I say teeny, you need like a 4-inch piece. I use rusty wire. I source my rusty wire at factorydirectcraft.com if you want to know. So a little piece of wire there. You might need some scissors. You definitely need a skewer if you're going to make a hat. You need some pliers. I cut a little bee wing template out of paper. It's just like a little oval. And then some Angelina, some heat bond Angelina. You can get that on Etsy. That's what you want to type in. Heat bond Angelina fiber. There's two kinds of Angelina. One, you can make it do this and iron it. The other one, it's just good for blending with other fibers, like when you put it in yarn. You can put this in yarn too, but it is heat bondable. So let's get started and we'll make this little bee. He's very cute. I'll sit him right here. So first we're going to use core wool and we're going to make just the body shape. This is a pretty fast project. I've got this little piece of core batting because you guys know you never know what I'm going to get when I reach into my bag. So I'm just going to roll it up. Remember, the tighter you roll it, the tighter you squish it, the less you got to poke. Let's work smarter, not harder. So I'm making a little hot dog here. And I'm just going to secure that. If you have multiple pieces of core wool or different roving, this is the shape you want to get to. And it's about... it's 3 by 1.5. So that's where you want to get to. And then we're just going to work this down in until it's pretty smooth. You don't want a lumpy bee. I like to make one end a little pointier than the other. See, I'm still pretty loose down here, so it's going to take me a minute. Bees are really in right now. This would make a great little ornament exchange gift. I know my friends came over and looked at my little tree that I have all the bees on, and they're like, oh, I have to get one of those. I'm like, well, you better get them fast because I only made 12. I have my biggest bazaar of the year on Friday, starting Friday. So my shop's a little in disarray at the moment. So do you see I'm felting this into a little point back here. So this will be his behind. Doesn't have to be pointy. It can be a little bit round. But again, you know, you don't want it, you don't have to make it super tight, but we do want it smooth. And then this front piece, we want to round it off because this is where his head's going to go. This is not a biologically proper bee by any chance. This is a very whimsical little bee. I mean, the stripes aren't right, I'm sure, and it's way bigger. I think if we ran into a bee this big, it would probably be kind of dangerous. But you don't want your bees to get lost on the Christmas tree, so we need to make them a little bit fanciful and whimsical. And they look really cool out of the tree. We'll show you what the tree looks like here when we're done. So you have this shape. We're all set to make a bee. So now you're going to take your yellow, whatever yellow you use. Like I said, I'm using Catkin Corriedale Sliver, and that's on my website. And we're just going to wrap it around him. And I'm going to keep going until he's totally covered. So we're covering coral wool with a light yellow. Don't go too thin so that you can see the coral wool. If you're questioning whether or not you got enough, you can remember what I told you before. You can always walk out the door with it. And sunlight is your friend when it comes to making sure your coral wool is covered with a light color, especially white, like if you're covering it with white. I love seeing what you guys are posting on the Liongate Farm Southern Oregon Fiber Art Facebook page. It's awesome to see what you're making. So keep posting what you make. It doesn't have to be my video. Post anything you make. We want to see it. We want to see it. It inspires everybody to see what everybody's making. It's really good. So I'm just going to sit here and poke this for a little while. It'll probably take me about 20 minutes. And when I come back, I will be ready to put on the black. Okay, so I've been poking him for about 20 minutes and see he's nice and smooth. And that will become important when we put on our little black spots. First, we're going to put on his head. So you need just a little piece. This is Raven Corriedale Sliver. I love using Sliver. It felt so fast. I'm not anti-merino. We're going to use some merino or some top. So top is just fibers that have been combed a whole bunch. So you can take this Raven Corriedale, and if you got Raven Corriedale top, it would be much slicker and not as easy to felt. It's still felt, just like I said, work smarter, not harder. Let's be smart. Sliver just is way faster in any fiber. So let's switch to this. We're going to get his little head put on. Now this you want to do kind of hard, like kind of firm, but you keep it kind of round. Keep it kind of round. You don't want it too flat. Work along this edge to keep it nice and clean up against the yellow. Just work your way around. I have a hard time actually working with black because I have old eyeballs. I don't like that when the eye doctor tells me that. I don't like to admit I have old eyeballs. I need lots of bright light. Okay, so we have his little head on. So now we're going to take little strips of our black roving. And I put 3 stripes. And you just wrap it around where you want it. It's all up to you and how fat you want the stripe. Go like this. And then we're going to secure that and then work the edges. Because you want them clean. I try to keep my stripes equidistant, but they get off. Okay, so we know this is where the first stripe's going to be. Some of my bees have 2, some have 3, some are skinny. Depends on the mood I'm in. You know, when I put faces on, I have to make sure I'm in a good mood so that the faces come out looking good. I discovered that a long time ago. I'm in a bad mood. It's not a good time to put on faces. Okay. So now we have another piece. This guy looks like he's only going to have 2 stripes. Unless I do one really skinny one. So you could actually make the wings for this out of white. Can felt some wings. If you're impatient about ordering Angelina, or if you have some Angelina, you're gonna have to go for it. I'm gonna show you how to do it. I'm gonna need a silicone sheet, ironing sheet. Otherwise it will stick to your iron. You can make wings for fairies the way I'm going to show you. You can make any kind of wings. It's pretty fun stuff. You can mix the colors together. We'll take you in there in a second and show you how to do that. You only get to see my ironing board in my workroom though, because my workroom is a wreck. That's a creative space, right? When it's a wreck. My husband doesn't get that. I know where everything is, mostly. And it's mostly a wreck because I was looking for something and I couldn't find it. See, that's why I say mostly. I knew where everything is. I know that I'm going to find it the minute I make a choice to do something else. Have you ever lost something you were looking for, then found it right away after you were done needing it? I bet you have. So what I'm doing now is just going through and tacking this in. And your bee ends up not perfectly flat. You get little ribs where you've put the black on, and you know that's okay with me. It gives you a little bit of texture when you're going around your bee. So he comes out bumpy. So once we have, now we're pretty much there. So once we have this done, now we are going, first let's make his, let me think, what do I want to do next? We're going to go make his wings. And then I'll show you how to put those on. And I'll come back. We'll come back here. So we're going to go to the ironing board and I will meet you there. Okay, so this is Angelina fiber. This stuff right here. It comes in lots and lots of colors. You need to make sure, like I said, that it says heat bondable on it. And we're going to turn it into little flat sheets like this, and then we're going to cut some wings out of it. I heat bonded this one too long, you see, and it turned colors. So this is my little wing template, but we're not going to use that. So I've got some of this weird blue stuff. We're going to do 2 colors. I have some blue, and I have this like silvery color. And I like to mix it up. And you make a little wad. That might not be enough. Let's pretend like we're going to make 2 wings. So I'm making a little sheet here is what I'm doing. I just like it to be a little bit thick. You can see I've been doing lots of Angelina. And then I'm going to fold my silicone sheet over. I've already got the iron hot. And it does not take long. It takes like 10 seconds. I'm going to check it. And it's done. So see, it gives us this little flat, because I use 2 colors, it's really fun, sheet. And then I'm going to take my little wing shape. This will do a lot of, well, I won't do a lot of wings, but I'll do some. And I'm going to cut it out. Just use any scissors. So there's one wing. Ah, stuck to me. You know, and I know Angelina comes in film form. That's meltable. I've never used that. I've only used this. So that would probably work too. All right, so now we have, oh, that's not very smooth. Two little wings. And, well, that'll work. This is our 2 little wings right here. And I'm going to reach over and grab my little glue gun. Move, Rippy. Move, Rip, Rip. All right. I have this tiny little glue gun here. And I'm going to make a little line of glue right along there. And I'm going to stick these on there. Okay, be careful because the glue goes through the stuff. And then that one more glue. Remember what I said about being careful? This is called how. I take a tiny bit of glue, a tiny bit on either wing, and then I'm going to squeeze it. Okay, be careful because you can burn yourself. I mean, the glue gun and I get along, but most of the time. But I have had some altercations. So that way it poofs up his wings. You're just squeezing it a little bit. We're going to cover all this up. Okay, so now I'm going to go, let's go put his hat on. We're going to go back to the felting pad. Okay, back at the felting pad. We've got our little wings on here. So now we are going to make a little hat. So I've got crimson here. Now this is what I was talking about. This is top. It's still Corriedale. I got glue on my fingers. Not going to mix well with this stuff. All right, this is Corriedale top. See how smooth it is? I just got this because I like the color. It will be added to my shop pretty soon when I have a minute to breathe. And we're making a tiny hat. Okay, tiny hat. So you're making a tiny cone by wrapping. Remember, keep it flat. Making a tiny little cone here. I always make the fat part down by my finger. See, you can make it big. You can make it, I like a tiny hat. I'm going to cut this because these fibers are too long to pull. And then I probably just shot myself in the foot here. I am going to felt them in. That's why you should never cut fibers right there. Hopefully I will not stab myself. I just made this way harder than it is by cutting that. Normally I wouldn't have to felt it that much before I pull it off. Oh, see, I just broke my own golden rule. I should have felt it under here so I didn't pull out the guts. So remember, I used little purchased hats that I picked up at a giant famous craft store in the Christmas miniatures section. Which, you know, I could never get out of there for under 50 bucks. Because I just pick up all these little parts and I put them in my part boxes. And they happen to have these tiny little hats. And I was like, oh, I can use those on stuff. So I bought a whole bunch of them. All right, so you're going to felt this till it's nice and smooth. Just going to keep felting along till it's nice and smooth. And it's going to take me forever because I made a cut. That's rule number 1, why you should use scissors on your fiber. You can see it's taking me longer to felt this top than it would if it was sliver. And that's because all those fibers were in a straight line. So I'm kind of having to work them. It's the same thing that happens when you use merino top or any kind of top. Totally feltable though. And we'll get it looking good. So we have this cute little hat. You can see his hat's gonna go right there. But first, before we put his hat on, we're gonna make a tiny little ball for the top of his hat. This is the sparkle merino stuff, because you gotta have Christmas glitter. I've actually been looking into adding different colors of glittery product that I create myself. So you have to stay tuned for that. I finally got a source for the stellina that's in these things. Stellina's like Angelina fiber, except it's not plastic. It is nylon. And it's much finer than Angelina. All right, so we got our little ball. Well, this actually is a big ball. That's okay. Whimsical. So I add my hat on. Sometimes the red will come through your white. You know, no one has ever noticed it on my projects. So if you get a little bit of red going through your white ball, no one's going to notice. There's almost no way to avoid it. Almost. Well, glue would make it not happen. All right, so we got our little ball. I'm actually going to switch. I don't like this hat at all. It'll work out. Okay, got our little hat, got our little ball. Now, it's going to go. I like to set it over where the wings were. Now, when you do this, you need to be careful because you have glue in there. Make sure glue is dry. Don't make the mistake. And you can see I can't get into the glue. So you've got to felt kind of around the glue. Whatever you do, don't send your felting needle into hot glue because it will fill up your barbs and then the needle won't work anymore. Do you want to know how I know that? It's happened to me. All right, we got our little hat attached. And now I'm going to tear off a little piece of this glitter white. And I'm just going to put his little hat brim on. My guardian dogs are going crazy outside. I wonder why. I can hear them barking, but I don't think you can hear them barking in the video. Okay, so there we got a little hat brim on. I just wrapped it around and I'm just tucking it. I'm not really felting in the hat brim because I like it to look all poofy. Okay, so now I'm gonna make 2 little eyeballs. Rip's gonna join in. You hear him too? Yeah. I'm using the same white that I used on the brim for his eyeballs. What's wrong with some glittery eyeballs? Nothing. So you're gonna make 2 little balls. You know, this is pretty small stuff, so if you're watching TV and doing this, just make sure that you stop felting if you look up at the TV. You will most certainly stab your fingers because you're working in very close proximity to them. So the eyeball measures, I'm going to give you a measurement on this. I like them to look silly. So it's about 3/8 of an inch. So you make 2 of them. They don't have to be exact. Just make 2 balls. A lot of time I will just build it right on the bee instead of on the pad. So I'll take it and come over here. Oh, you know what, you guys? You guys should say, Karen, I put his hat and his wings on the wrong end of the bee. Oh, well. Cannon, do we need to start over?
I don't know, do we?
So we're just going to make his face, because I'm like, something is not right here. See, even your teacher can make mistakes. Every day, actually, that's how we learn. But we can rescue this bee from me. It'll be fine. Let's just tuck this in. He's actually going to be fine. That's pretty funny. Rip is not adjusting to the time change, the dog. He thinks that it is time to eat right now, and it is not. Daylight savings time, you know, drives me crazy. I can't wait till it's gone. All right. So now we put his face back on. So now let's put his eyeballs back on. So you're just going to tack his eyes in. And they're going to get smaller when you put them on unless you felted them super hard. Oh, there's one tool I forgot. Kenna, can you hand me the black Sharpie? So most of the time on these bees, because they're so small, I just use a Sharpie to make their eyeballs. You know me and my Sharpie tricks. Sometimes you just get better definition when you're going so small for pupils. Sometimes, not always. So I like that I have one eye bigger than the other because that makes it super whimsical. And I am going to try this one. Well, this one will work. We're just going to give him one pupil, and then another pupil. He's looking that way. Okay. We're almost there. Now, we just need a tiny bit of core or pink. You could use a little bit of pink. We're going to make him a little whimsical smile. I always just start like right in the middle of one eyeball. Again, this is your choice of how you want him to look. Hope we're still in the frame. They slid around. You guys, I cannot believe I put his wings on the wrong end. But if you do that, now you know how to save it. It doesn't look bad either. He'll just be a bee all his own. And there we go. One Santa bee with some little wings. Now, when I put his hat on, they flattened out. I might go back in and add a little bit of glue so that they poof up this way a little bit. You can't really felt them to do that, but right here is where the now when you put the hanger on for the bee, think about it, it's a Christmas ornament, so you don't want to go this way. You want to go under the wings, and you want to go this way, because when you hang it on the tree, you want it, this will go over the branch so that the bee is facing you. And we'll just tie a little knot up here. Just tie it however long you want. I go through more fishing line this time of year. And it also helps the wings, you know, come up a little bit. To put it that way. And there you have it. One little Santa bee with one giant blooper in the middle. And I want to see what you guys make. So make sure you post them on the Facebook page. Okay. We're back for just a second. Blooper number 2. I need you to take your little piece of wire that you cut. And we're going to just slide it in here behind his eyeballs. Just slide it through your bee. He's got to have antennas. And then bend it up. And I like if one side is taller than the other. And then you're going to curl the ends over. And you can curl it as much or as little as you want. There we go. All right, now he's finished. I was like, something is missing. Okay, so now he has his little wire, so he's all set. Okay, have fun making this bee. Thanks for joining me today while we made our little Santa bee ornaments. And I hope you enjoyed learning how to use the Angelina for the wings. If you have any questions, make sure you post them. And post what you make at the Liongate Farm Facebook group. Click like on our YouTube videos and make sure you follow us because it really helps us out. And see you next week.